This rider represents scarcity, famine, and economic hardship. In verse 5-6, it says, "When he opened the third seal, I heard the third living creature say, 'Come and see.' So I looked, and behold, a black horse, and he who sat on it had a pair of scales in his hand. A quart of wheat for a denarius, and 3 quarts of barley for a denarius, and do not harm the oil and the wine." The black horse is a symbol of scarcity, darkness, and mourning. The scales held by the rider indicate a time of economic crisis, where goods are being weighed and measured. The voice heard from the midst of the 4 living creatures sets a fixed price for wheat and barley, indicating a shortage of food. The denarius was a silver coin used in ancient Rome, and it was the typical daily wage for a laborer. So, the price of wheat and barley mentioned in the verse is equal to a day's wages. The command, "See thou hurt not the oil and the wine," suggests that these items will be available in abundance, and only the basic necessities will be scarce. In other words, the wealthy will be able to afford luxuries like oil and wine, while the poor will struggle to buy basic food items. In summary, the third seal represents a time of economic hardship, scarcity, and famine, where the basic necessities of life will become expensive and difficult to obtain, while the wealthy will continue to enjoy their luxuries. Here are some scenarios leading up to a global crisis. If a devastation will happen across America. The United States serves as a global financial center, as many countries use the US dollar for international banking transactions and stock trading. The stability of the U.S. economy has a significant impact on the global financial system, and any major disruptions or crises in the U.S. can potentially have far-reaching effects around the world. 2. If the global banking system will collapse. If a scenario were to disrupt the U.S. currency, it could potentially have a significant impact on the global banking system. Since the US dollar is the world's dominant reserve currency, any major fluctuations or disruptions in its value could affect the stability of the global financial system. If the US dollar were to lose its value or suffer from hyperinflation, it could lead to a loss of confidence in the currency, resulting in a decrease in demand for it. This could lead to a decrease in international investments in US securities and could cause capital to flow out of the country. A disruption in the U.S. currency could also lead to a domino effect of economic problems, including inflation, unemployment, and recession, which could impact the global economy. The economic instability could potentially spread to other countries and cause a global financial crisis. In summary, a disruption in the U.S. currency could have far-reaching consequences, potentially leading to economic instability and impacting the global banking system. Beijing and Brazil have signed an agreement on trade in mutual currencies, abandoning the US dollar as an intermediary, and are also planning to expand cooperation on food and minerals. The agreement will enable the 2 BRICS members to conduct their massive trade and financial transactions directly, exchanging RMB yuan for Brazilian real and vice versa, instead of using the US dollar for settlements. BRICS is an acronym that refers to the 5 major emerging economies: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The BRICS countries represent a significant portion of the world's population, with over 40% of the world's population living in these countries. They also account for a significant share of global economic output and trade. In Revelation chapter 13, there is a passage that speaks about a mark that is given to people, without which they are unable to buy or sell. This mark is often interpreted as a symbol of allegiance to a world leader or government, and some interpret it as a reference to a one-world currency. One possible scenario could involve a major crisis in the global economy that leads to a loss of faith in national currencies and prompts countries to adopt a new, unified currency system. In such a scenario, countries may see a one-world currency as a solution to the problems caused by multiple currencies and fluctuating exchange rates. The new currency system could potentially be managed by a central authority, such as a global financial institution or a world government, and could be linked to a digital identification system, such as a biometric or blockchain-based system. One of the most well-known applications of blockchain technology is cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and Ethereum. In these systems, the blockchain is used to maintain a decentralized ledger of all transactions, with each node in the network verifying and recording new transactions. How the Antichrist is described as having control over the financial system. Here are some possible scenarios. Number 1. The Antichrist could use economic crises to consolidate power. By creating or taking advantage of economic crises, the Antichrist could establish themselves as a savior figure who can restore order and stability to the financial system. In exchange for this help, people and nations may be willing to give up some of their economic and financial freedoms, allowing the Antichrist to consolidate power and control over the financial system. Number 2. The Antichrist could use advanced technologies to gain control. With the advancement of technologies like artificial intelligence, big data, and blockchain, the Antichrist could potentially gain control over the financial system by creating sophisticated algorithms that can predict and influence financial outcomes. By controlling the flow of information and manipulating financial data, the Antichrist could exert significant control over the financial system. Number 3. The Antichrist could use global financial institutions to consolidate power. The Antichrist could potentially gain control over the financial system by taking advantage of global financial institutions like the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, or other similar organizations. By leveraging their influence over these institutions, the Antichrist could establish themselves as a leader in the global financial system, allowing them to exert control over nations and individuals. There are various interpretations of the biblical account of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse and their relationship to the Antichrist. Some interpretations suggest that the 4 horsemen are the initial stages or precursors of the Antichrist's reign, paving the way for his eventual ascension to power. His hidden agenda is to deceive and manipulate people into following him and to establish a one-world government, religion and currency.